Okay, it is check-in time. It is a little bit after 12. The market has been open for an hour. We've had 5 sales so far. This is our first time here, and we pulled a boo-boo. When we checked in, the coordinator and me both at fault. We set up in the wrong spot. So we were supposed to be like 3 spots over to my right, and it's fine. Whoever was supposed to be here ended up not showing up anyways. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 empty spots around me, and the wind is like really, really rough. Keeps blowing everything everywhere. But I just finished making a pink Demogorgon, and I'm getting ready to start on another. Now check back in. Okay, it is almost 2 o'clock. It is so windy. The stuff's like freaking me out. Tents are moving. People's stuff is flying. Yeah. Freaking me out, folks. I'm standing against my one side panel I put up because of the wind, but it like makes it like a kite. It's so windy, it's gonna knock me over. Well, I had a girl earlier tell me that people's tents were flying. So, yeah, pretty scary. Like, this booth right back here, theirs moved. And they didn't even get up to fix it. They just let it go. But we have an hour left. It's picked up a little bit. Wasn't as busy with traffic as I was hoping this place would be. But, I mean, it's been all right. Even if people aren't spending, I expected a little more foot traffic, if you know what I mean. Just because of the location. But, yeah, I'm gonna go. I still didn't finish that second Demogorgon. I got part of it made, and then a lot of looky-loos. And then me being paranoid about the wind. Oops, somebody's lost something. All right, gotta go. Okay, it is 2:22, so about 35 minutes left. Hasn't been too bad. Just not as much foot traffic as I thought. But again, this is my first time here. And this is the same place that my first Friday of the month market is at. That's why I thought that you'd see a lot more foot traffic. But it's been pretty decent. I'm not complaining. Really, I'm not. I'm just surprised I didn't see more foot traffic. Other than this wind. And other than that I have to make now 14 more swings to get back up to my 50. Oh my goodness. But we've had some different type items selling today. A few loveys, a couple of keychains, 11 swings so far. Sold a few of the new items. Sold some Demogorgons, a spider or 2 type of thing. But it's getting close, and I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. So it'll probably be the longest 35 minutes of my life. John's over there playing his game. At the moment, the wind is not blowing, thank goodness. That was some pretty freaky stuff. Pretty freaky. All right, we will check back in again. Well, good morning, everyone. It is market results time for market number 2 over the weekend. I was so tired. Let me tell you, I was so tired. But before we get into it, everybody, well, a lot of you have been asking about Sam. You want some Sam footage. So I have a little clip here of Sam being just a little bit naughty. So I'm going to pop that in, and then we'll come back and do the recap. Now, I know you all probably think that that's cute, but it's quite annoying. He is a little booger. I keep wanting to call him Toby, but he's like Toby on steroids. So, yeah. So, Sunday, we got to go to what is called the Harvest Market, and it was our first time there. So, it goes from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, I was surprised that the traffic wasn't a little heavier than it was, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised because it is a Sunday, and it was extremely windy out. Extremely windy. And today it's like freezing outside. Very, very cold. So we get there, we go to check in. We think we find our spot. We get all set up, and then we notice that not directly behind us, but one spot over behind us is the other crochet plushie person that's there. But theirs looked mostly like acrylic. Mostly all little teeny tiny items. And both John and I, on separate occasions throughout the day, tried to have a conversation, and they weren't very friendly. Now, they were probably upset. I mean, because I was kind of like a little upset too that, we were so close together, but we were on opposite sides. Like, you had to walk up one side of the row because the tents were back to back to get to theirs, and be on the other side to get to mine. Well, it turns out I went over and I commented to the coordinator that, maybe next time put us in a different place because, I don't know if that other person's a regular person or not, but so that we're not like impeding on each other's sales. And, well, it turns out she told us the wrong spot. Kind of my fault, kind of her fault. It was both our faults. I was supposed to be like 3 spots further down, which still would have been like the same scenario. We're like right there, like one of us could have been on the main stretch, which I would prefer, and the other in that like wind tunnel section between the 2 buildings, which there you get nice shade. So if it's hot out, you've got the shade there. But the other one is the main drag. And I would prefer, I think, to be on the main drag. So, I mean, all things considered, it was a decent market. Not as much foot traffic as I thought there would be. But, I mean, we did decent in sales. We beat Friday night. And it's the same market coordinators. So, yeah, I think they need to advertise a little bit more. So I'm I'm going to mention that to Brett, like from what I see from the other market company that I work with, every single day they have an Instagram post. I don't do Facebook, but they probably have a Facebook post. You know, they utilize all the different things that would be considered free advertising, and they use it. So they need someone in their company that's their responsibility every single day to post and have pictures of the different types of things that people are selling, have pictures of the crowd walking through, show people that it's something good. So, I mean, the vendors that I did get to actually talk to, super nice. And it was quite a few, well, not quite a few. I talked to 2 different ladies that it was also their first time at this market. And the one that was right next to us, she does the other one that I do on Friday night. So, and she had a great attitude. She's like, what else am I going to do? It's Sunday, lay around in bed. Great attitude. The other lady's super nice too, but I think it was quite a drive for her. So hopefully she did well, that she'll want to come back. We'll see. So we got all set up. We had, of course, extra time because, you know, first time there, we didn't know what to expect. Like, I had no idea that the booths were supposed to be back to back. Had no clue. So once we found that out, you know, we had to kind of tweak our setup situation a little bit. But I did notice that everybody came out a little bit from their canopies, so that's not like frowned upon there. Where the other market, I have to stay under my canopy. So in order to give us a little more space, you know, you could like come out just a little. I wouldn't come out a lot, but you could come out a little bit. Anyhow, market started at 11, but we had our first sale at 10:58. So, of course, when I got home Friday night, it's too late to work on anything, and you're too tired because that's such a long drive from the other market. So Saturday, for whatever reason, I woke up early, and I was like, well, I'm up. I might as well start working. So we sold out on Friday. We sold 4 Ninja Turtles, and all I had was the orange masked Ninja Turtle left. So I made 1 red, 1 blue, 1 purple. Then I was like, well, let me do some Demogorgons because I sold almost all of those. So I got 2 more. Well, I made 1 Demogorgon. Then I was like, you know what? I'm starting to feel it. Let me go lay down for an hour. So I go in and set my alarm for an hour. But don't you know, I didn't turn it on. I didn't turn it on. So I slept for like 3 hours, and then I was mad at myself. When I woke up, I'm like, now I'm mad. And John's like, why? And I'm like, because I didn't want to sleep for 3 hours. It just cut into my time. Anyway, so I got 1 more Demogorgon made. We had dinner, and then, I was just like, let me just make another possum, because the possum was one of the first things that sold Friday night. It was like the 3rd sale. And so I get the possum made, and then I gather up some stuff that I already had made that was here. You know, try to work out some of these older items that are just sitting in the totes, and, you know, got a extra bag ready, like not full, but an extra bag, the things that I had just made and the few items that I was adding to it. Got that ready to load in the car, had my iPad charged, my Square charged, my phone charged, all that good stuff. So at 10:58, long story short, at 10:58, our first sale was the possum. And that is this guy. This guy here. I'm using the rat pattern. The rat pattern from Crochet, and just playing with the colors to make it look like a possum. So I've made 2 of those. Sold one at one market, sold the other one at the other market. It might be something I have to do regular. So then we waited quite a while for the next sale. It was 10:45, but while I'm waiting, I'm sitting there I took a basket of yarn and hooks and needles and polyfill, and I was working on some Demogorgons. So I got one completely made there, and the flower part of a second one, I did that first before the body because I already had those colors pulled out. But that's all I got done because it was just too windy and it was freaking me out. Anyhow, so at 11:45, we sold a calcifer keychain. And at 11:46, we sold Kirby on a swing. Then at 12:03, we sold the Penguin Lovey. It was a modification for the Mama Made Minis duck. And I've had that for quite a while. So I was glad to see that go. And a mini Snuggler Della Duck, the Mallard version. So 2 Snugglers in one transaction. At 12:05, we sold an itty bitty Demi. So at 12:12, the man, woman, and child, so we're going to say mom, dad, and child, they come in, and the dad really wanted to get the little monster, the purple one, I think it was, with the tongue sticking out. He wanted that. He kept saying to the little girl, well, how about this cute little monster? And the little girl, she couldn't have been but maybe 3, 4 years old. She kept saying, no monsters, no monsters. But she ended up picking out the Splooting Evee from Snugglebeans Crochet. And they got an otter on a swing. So Dad really wanted the monster, but the little girl was not having it. At 12:16, we sold an axolotl, and that is Swampy. At 12:28, we sold a capybara, which surprises me that I've been selling those, because I used a different pattern a couple of years ago, and they sat on my table market after market after market. Took them a long time to sell. I can talk. It took them a long time to sell. And this pattern from Huggarumi Toys, I've sold at least one at each market since I added them. So I'm really a little surprised. Then at 12:36, we sold Stacy's Fancy Pants Elephant and a dashboard duck, or rubber duck, whatever you want to call it. At 12:39, we sold a Myrtle the Turtle. Now I only have 3 Myrtles left. I need to make some Myrtles. Oh, yep. Myrtle the Turtle. Good old Myrtle. And it was a pretty one. It was like I used the sage green for the flippers and the head, and flippers for the legs. Are they legs? I think they're legs. They could be flippers. It's a sea turtle, so it's a flipper leg. Yeah, so it was sage green for that, and then I used the Chenille Bright's tie-dye, the one that's the camouflage. It was really pretty. I mean, it's probably the prettiest turtle on the table. Then, at 12:49, we sold another dashboard duck. Then, at 12:51, we sold Stacy's Betty the Cow in overalls. Stacy's patterns did pretty good today, or Sunday. At 1:10, a yellow chick on a swing. At 116, an itty bitty demi. At 122, a jumping spider. At 124, we sold calcifer on a swing and an itty bitty demi. At 128, we sold an axolotl and a chicken on a swing. The ones I did with white and gave them the red comb. And it's funny, I had a girl comment. She had bought a swing before, not from me, but from someone else, put it in her car, and in our Florida heat, it melted. Like, not the yarn, but it was glued together. So if you are making stuff that goes in somebody's car and you're in a really hot environment like Florida, don't use glue. Don't use glue. Make different things, something else. If the one item requires glue, make something else. Sew it on. Don't use glue, because yeah, it gets hot. Really hot in our cars here in the summertime. Then, just saying. Then at 130, we sold an axolotl. Again, that's swampy. At 134, we sold a pickle keychain. At 137, we sold Totoro on a swing. The capybara on a swing, that brown thing that didn't look like hardly anything. Yellow chick on a swing. Frog on a swing. And a spider on a swing, or on the rope. 5 swings to one person. I have to make more swings, you guys. I have to make more swings to get back up to 50. Okay, so at 139, now this person tried to talk me down in my price, but I stood my ground. I'm like, you picked 2 items that were a lot of work, and I'm sorry, but I am more than reasonably priced. So, Freddy Fazbear sold, and the Mulberry Goblin, which was the one that had the mushroom hat and the mushroom safety eyes. She thought it was the coolest thing that it had a little purse. So, after our discussion of why I won't lower the prices, usually I just say no, I don't do that. But, you know, I went into it with her about how much sewing and how much time and all that it takes to do these things. And after that, she says, you're right. You know, you're right. I don't want to do that to you. And she paid my price. So, at 146, we sold a sitting cat, which is the Pammy Dolls pattern, which is a very quick and easy pattern to make. And they've done fairly well. They don't sell at every single market, but they are selling. At 148, we sold an axolotl and Reggie the frog. I was like thrilled to death to sell a frog. I like making frogs, but they don't normally do very well for me unless they're sitting on a swing. So I was thrilled to death that Reggie the frog sold. I mean, the mom saw it and just like, this is it. This is what my kid is getting. And that was that. So yeah, that was nice that sold. So I'll make a couple more of those, and they were pretty quick and easy. You know, it's got some color changes, but it was quick and easy. At 209, we sold the eggplant amusable. We sold the Forrest Spirit, the yellow one, the first one that I made, and the panda on a swing. So not only did my possum look possum-y enough, but my panda looked panda-y enough. So, yeah. Then at 2:13, we sold, this was another one of Stacy's patterns that I did a test for her. Oh gosh, it was part of her sitting animal collections. It was the little lamb. I do not remember the name of it off the top of my head. And it was one that I did embroidered eyes on. So when I was gathering things that were just kind of like in the tote, like I would take stuff, and then as I make more new stuff, okay, I don't have enough room for everything. I would take some slower moving items and put it into the tote and then restock it with my fresh new stuff. Well, this lamb was in there, and I'm like, oh, you have embroidered eyes. You're coming with me again because my Safer for Baby section is getting a little depleted. So I took that. It sold. I mean, Stacy's patterns had a really good day Sunday. Then at 2:15, we sold a mini snuggler, the elephant, and I think that's BK Crochet, I think. Mini snugglers. So, I mean, 2 so far of the minis, 1 of the regular, but the mini snugglers. And a lot of people do ask, like, why are they like this? Why aren't they stuffed? You know, and I just explained to them, it's for the little kids, the little ones. It's easier for them to hold on to and snuggle up with. And they buy it. They buy my explanation of why they're like that. I mean, that's the only reason I can think they're like that. So that's what I say. At 2:29 p.m., we sold a penguin on a swing. At 2:32 p.m., I sold the one demi that I was able to complete while sitting there, and it just happened to be pink. So, pink and gray seemed to be good. I can't remember if I told you guys, but I had Friday's market, I had 3 gray, 2 dark and 1 light gray, and 1 pink one. All of those sold, plus a couple of the tan ones. And then I was able to finish the pink one at the market. I had made 2 gray ones the night before. And the 2 gray ones and the pink one and a tan one sold Sunday. So don't be afraid to change your colors up a little bit. I'm very surprised that the pink did well. Very surprised. But I'm glad because it keeps it interesting because you can switch the colors around and not look at the same thing over and over and over and over again. So that was nice. Where are we at? We did that. Okay, at 2:35, we sold a blueberry on a keychain. And that was something that I was able to complete like Thursday night before Friday's market. I just was able to quickly do 2 blueberry keychains. At 2:40, my last not large, it's the baby demi and not the itty bitty demi. That one sold. At 2:41, the cheesecake amusable sold. At 2:43, my last, I'm sold out now, dashboard duck sold. And the last sale of the day was at 2:51 p.m. and it was an itty bitty snake. So it was like a variety of things. We sold 25 plushies, 12 swings, 3 loveys, 2 amusables, I gave those their own category, and 3 keychains. Not bad. So that was 25, 37, 40, 45 items. Pretty good. So that's like average for me at these other markets. I usually average about 40. So 45 is good. So our sales were $674, 33 transactions, with the average transaction being $20.42. So just a little bit, a couple dollars less average transaction than Friday. Our best hour was from 1 to 2. 12 to 1 wasn't bad. 1 to 2 was better. 11 to 12, very slow. That was the slowest hour. So at noon is when it started to pick up. And of our $674, we did $577 in card, $97 in cash. So 86% of my sales were card, 14% cash. My card fees were $18.75. Let's see, best sellers were, you guys probably already figured that out. Okay. So in the plushie category, the best sellers were tied between Itty Bitty Demi and Swampy the Axolotl, both coming in at 4 each. And in second place, Dashboard Duck coming in at 3, and I sold out. So could I have sold more? I don't know, maybe. Ooh, you were in the wrong category. So I sold more than 12 swings because my yellow chick is not in the right category. Oh, wait. Come on. Okay, never mind. I lied, never mind. The button I hit just shows me the best sellers. It doesn't break it down by category. Okay, so I just lost myself. Swings, obviously 12, so that was a hot item. But they were all different. So it was like 2 yellow chicks, and all the rest of them were something different. So that was, I'd say that was a decent market. So Friday we did 622 for, I think it was 39 items. And then Sunday we did 674 for 45 items. So we sold more items. We did make a little more money, but now we have to work a little bit harder because we sold all those swings. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I have to make a decision. I like the idea of doing the market in the daytime versus at night. Not necessarily thrilled about it being on a Sunday. Saturday would be better, but Sunday's fine. It is 30 minutes closer. So I don't know. Maybe I should wait and before I jump the gun and say, oh, this is going to work. We'll do it one more time along with the hub one more time. And then see how they go, and then go from there and make a decision after that. Personally, I'm leaning towards it's 30 minutes closer. It doesn't have all the wild kids running around. They were so loud Friday night. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so I have to decide because that's going to be hard to try and keep up with 3 markets a month. In February, I have 4. because I signed up for that extra farm and quilt show. But I signed up for that before an opening came at the harvest market. And the harvest market was how I got hooked up with this other market company in the first place. Was looking for a spot there, but they didn't have openings, but they did at the hub. And yeah. So anyways, I don't know. Because you figure if I average 40 and I do 40 on a Friday night at the hub, and I do 40 on Sunday. Obviously, Saturday, I did not get 40 made. So that's 80. And then the other market could be anywhere from 70 to 100. I don't know that I could keep up. I mean, I'm fast, but I am not that fast. And then it would make it seem too much like work and not fun. And I like to have fun sometimes. I can work, but I like to have fun sometimes. Anyhow, that is my market recap. I hope it was helpful. I will link the popular items that sold down in the description in case you were interested in what they are. Hopefully I had pictures of most of these things that I was able to pop up. I'll find out when I go to edit because, you know, I'm bad at getting the pictures. And then Sunday, we should be back to, at least for a week, our regular, like, show and tell type video. Here's what I made, blah, blah, blah. This is how the pattern works out for me, blah, 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 that type of thing. And then it'll be right back to a whole bunch of markets. Oh my gosh. I am a glutton for punishment. All right, you guys. I'm going to go. I'm going to go and edit this and crochet some stuff. And we'll see you next time.